Hey again, my name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller, and today I'm going to be going over my watch solds for last weekend, which is November 19th through the 21st. Sales have been consistent. It's been pretty good. There's going to be no complaints about that from me compared to where I was. I really believe I have ended everything in my store for this month and did sell similar. So I've seen an uptick for sure. I think I'm up almost 15% from the month before. So I'm happy. Sales last weekend weren't very good on the other Facebook, Mercari. I did make 2 new sales this week on Etsy. The first 2 since I started back on there. And then this week I've killing it on Facebook because they're offering free shipping to select buyers again. So I think one day last week I shipped 8, and then yesterday I shipped I think 4 or 5 more, and right now I'm standing at 5 again for tomorrow. So it's been good. I think that's probably everything I need to say about that right now. Just, if you've not tried it, give it a chance. In some of your oldest listings, definitely pay attention to how many listings you have left for the month, because it is the end of the month. So anything that's rolled over already, has taken up your listings. But if you've got extra, end the ones that are about to end and then do sell similar on them. I have been still going through and trying to update all of my recommended item specifics also. I'm just kind of funny like that. If they tell me I've got 1,000, I'm going to try to get most of them done. Now, there's just certain ones you can't fill out. I don't, especially like some of the action figures, they want to know if it's been graded. Well, none of my stuff's graded, and there's not an NA, and you can't put an NA in there. So there's just some blocks I'm never going to be able to fill out. And it just goes against my senses, but it is what it is. And then there's a lot of things I do not know dates, especially things that are not the norms for me, old vintage dishes and stuff like that. Sometimes I've been going in and seeing what other people are putting, but then again, do you trust what others are doing? That's why I never, ever, ever start a listing from somebody else. And, I'm pretty sure my sisters might be even doing that, but I don't. The only sell similars I do are my own listings, because then you have to make sure there's not bad info in any of their details. Off the beaten track on that one. But all right, let's go through the list. My biggest sale this week was not even a toy, so that was thrilling. But I did have quite a few sales that were over $50. So let's just keep going. All right, first item was going back. Earlier this summer, my husband went to Missouri to visit family and came home with a whole bunch of Fire King. I had never had so much, and I had the Jadeites and the peach lusters, and I'm down to, I had this cup, and then I have a 3-pack of, I think, white cups, and they're just plain Janes. But I finally sold this one for best offer of $11, but it was this brown color. I just thought it wasn't very pretty, but it's gone. And then I did sell these next 2 listings, went to the same buyer. He bought 2 of these Citrus Grove plates. I bought them at a yard sale this year. I want to say I paid like $5 for a whole stack, and then I divvied them up by color. And I've just got a few things left, I think, of it. So I sold this green dinner plate and then the orange dinner plate for $17.90. If you're new to my channel, I don't do free shipping. So this is what they sold for, but they also paid an additional amount for shipping. Next item is a Russ Bear plush. Again, these are things I've had listed for a while and nothing. And now that I've got my listings redone and they're back out there and they're fresh, it's just one of those that sold, and it sold for the $9.05. This is a Goond Teddy Be Caring. It's Christmas, so a lot of my plush are going out the door. So I did sell him for $8.14. This I picked up at the Goodwill bins. It's a Teletubbies block holder. He's made out of nylon, but he's zippers, and there were some blocks that were supposed to go with it, but I did not see them. But Teletubbies do quite well for me. Not a big sale, but again, I took a best offer and sold him for $8. This, we went to an estate sale a couple of months back, and we bought a whole lot of small appliances there. And I saw Robert looking at Gevalia coffee makers, and I was like, Gevalia, that's nothing. And then he was like, have you even looked at the comps on it? In my brain, I don't know what I thought, but they do sell well. I think we might have paid $5 for this. We bought several different ones at this estate sale, and it sold for $54.55. Now this one was in the box, which made it quite easy to ship. And I don't know if it had been used. It just didn't look it, but everything that I list, if I'm not positive and it's not sealed, it's going to be sold as used. Not even open box. It's going to be used. This is a Keel Toy Lion plush. I think they're from England, but I must have had to wash it because I did take the paper tag off. Somebody had asked me a question about stuffed animals that have their tags but need some serious cleaning. And what I do is I just take the tag off and I wash it. And then I'll just include the tag. I just recently bought one of those tagging guns for my booth to do clothing and stuffed animals. So I might start doing that, but I would always still admit that I did reattach the paper tag. But this lion sold for $13.60. Speaking of booth, I've mentioned it before. The booth that we were at, she sold the building, and we all had to be out by the end of this month. We got everything out yesterday. Now, not everything got put in the booth because we're moving from a computerized inventory system to moving it over there, and I had to manually tag everything with something that's removable. So I've been using the tagging gun on the plush, and then I had those little string tags that I'm taping to everything else. So it was, I think we worked 7 hours just moving stuff over there yesterday, and my car's still full. We didn't get it all done. I was too tired. But it's over there, so I'm hoping. This one is not considered a antique or vintage mall. So some of the things that I was a little hesitant about selling before, this is basically a thrift store that consigns to vendors. So, you know, it's game on. I can take my more clothing and shoes that just don't make the cut on eBay over there. And I'm hoping it's a new setup, and I'm hoping we're going to get a whole lot of business and do quite well over there. But, all right, back to this. I have tons of smalls. That's what I call my little figures. Whenever I go to the bins or to a yard sale, if I can get a handful of just little things, I'll go ahead and get them. And then I kind of divvy them out, you know, vehicles and PJ Masks and Thomas, and just everything's in little boxes. And eventually I go, when I'm bored with whatever else I'm doing, I'll go grab something and just do a bunch of the littles. Well, that's what I did with these. I think these came out of a cereal box stuff, Kellogg's or something like that. But I just had quite a few of them, made a lot, and did take a best offer of $13 on them. This is Clarice from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I pick them up all the time. This one's cute. It's from Toy Factory, which I've talked about that brand before, but she sold for $9.96. This is from my online estate sale. I think it's in the one that we just posted this past week. It's Avoid the Noid. I've had the smaller figure that you see there, but I think it was supposed to have suction cups on its hands, and they were missing. And he's just kind of sat over in my listing area for a while. And then when I found this, I just went ahead and put them together, and I did sell them for $25.80. This is Baby Gon's. It's the Snuggle Elephant. Just another brand I like to pick up. It's my bread and butter. And it's been listed a while. Sold it for $11.78. This is by Goffa. Goffa's another one of those brands. I picked them up, but they don't normally sell for a whole lot. But they're cute. A lot of times they're, basic animals and bears and tigers and cats and dogs and stuff like that. But this one was called Goffa Baby. And I did sell him for $18.15. I featured these recently in a haul. I think I got these at a consignment sale. $5, $6, $8. I do not remember. But I did take a best offer of $40 on them. When I did the haul on this, I didn't know if it was complete, but they ended up being a complete set. It's A through Z. This is the alphabet set. Typical of these, if they've been played with, there's a whole lot of scratches on them. So that's what I put in my listing. It has playwear, it has marks, and there are scratches. But you very seldom find all of them together complete. This next two orders, the person bought this Russ tidbit and then sent me a message asking if I would combine shipping if they ordered something else, which I did. So she bought this Russ tidbit bear and then these holy bears. I think both of them came from my online estate sale, and I sold the two of them together for best offer of $15. These are from the dollhouse lots that I've picked up this summer. This was from the Dream series, which were the 1990s dollhouse items. This was just the stroller and a push train set, and I sold them for best offer of $17. I don't buy these type Christmas bears very, very often. I think I got these at the Goodwill bin, so I went ahead and got them because it's so cheap to pick them up there. These were from 1999. Company is TB Trading Company. I want to say that's either Walmart or Kmart or one of them. But there's people out there who like to collect these series. There's a boy and a girl, and they've got matching outfits and everything. But I did sell these for best offer of $16. I picked this up at the 100 Mile Yard Sale this summer with my sisters. I want to say I paid $1.50. And I had them listed for the $35.90. Well, the $39.95. They were on sale, and I got an offer for $20 for just just the wagon one, not the baby one, the pink one on the left. And I went ahead and accepted it. There's some people who won't accept an offer like that unless they change the listing. What I tend to do is I make a screenshot of the offer and keep it just in case they try to come back and say, but why did you only send me one or whatever? And I've never had an issue. And he even put in the payment screen that it was just for the dragon wagon and not the baby. So I was fine with that. So I did take a best offer of $20 for the one. These I picked up, it's been a while, at an estate sale. I bought a whole bunch of vintage razor cartridges. A lot of them were Gillette or whatever the brand was, and I did very well with them. And then I've had these three that have been listed for a while, and lo and behold, I switch everything up and get that sell similar going, and I sold them for $13.45. I showed this recently in a haul. I bought a huge tote of Lego Duplos, and I spent hours separating it out. I've already sold all the animals that were in there for $100, and then I've sold these are the train cars that hook together, and I took a best offer on them of $18. So I'm way into the profit on this, and I still have half a tote that's just plain blocks, and I'm considering whether I want to put them on eBay or I may bag them up and take them over to my booth. This is a Marita's Baby Beans doll. I've had these a couple of times. I've had the blue one. Just a vintage doll I like to pick up. They kind of were similar and probably were out at the same time that Fisher-Price put out the baby beans that they had. You know how it is. Back then, something was popular and then another company would do knockoff type stuff. But I want to say I got this for probably $1 or less, and it sold for the $13.45. Must be baby doll season right now. This is from Corral. It was dated 2002. I had to wash it a couple of times, and it still had some faint spots on it, but I just disclosed, and she sold for best offer of $12.50. But I like to pick up the Corral. They have plastic face and hands, but the rest of them are plush and soft and very cute. Walgreens, I've mentioned this every time I've been picking them up. These plush sell quickly and sell for decent money. This was a purple rabbit from Walgreens, and he sold for $17.95. These, my husband grabbed these at a yard sale. We paid $20 for it, and when I got home and was looking at the electrical part of it, it was the old plugs. There was lots of rust, and I just didn't even trust to plug it in to see if they were working. So I stated that in there, that I was leery about testing them, so they are being sold for parts replacement. The molds had lots of whatever they used to make. It still was covered with that. And I tried to do a quick wipe down with like alcohol, and that stuff wasn't coming off. So again, I just said I'm leaving everything to the buyer. And I got a whole bunch of lowball offers, like $20, and we had paid $20 for it. And I didn't budge on the price. I was sending out offers. I think I had gotten down to like $48, but sending out offers, and then it sold $53.95. These I picked up recently, and I don't even know. Yeah, I think I've put it out already, the haul on this. These are Mattel Tough Stuffs. Now, I had shown previously that I had picked up a truck that had some numbers in it, that's made out of the same kind of plastic that these are made out of. And there's ABC blocks, and there's a baby stroller, and there's some tools and stuff that's all Mattel Tough Stuff. But these were the stacking blocks. And there were over 100, and I ended up selling them for best offer of $75. So I was thrilled with them. When I bought them, the basket that they were in said 10 cents each, and I didn't pay attention, so I'm not quite sure how much she charged me for them, but I don't think it was even the 10 cents each. I think she just charged me, $5 or whatever. This is a VTech Peppa Pig. I pick up almost all things Peppa Pig. The figures, the vehicles, the houses, the play sets. And made sure that this worked. I think I ended up ordering a battery for it. When it's these specialized batteries, the little ones, I order them in bulk off Amazon. The little button sized, and then I think these were the bigger ones right here. And they're relatively cheap. And then I don't usually install them at all in the item, because I don't know how long it's going to be sitting out in my building waiting, and I don't want corrosion or anything, so I'll usually bag them in a little Ziploc and just put them in the bag. But Peppa did sell for $8.96, and even with the battery I was good. This is from my online estate sale. These were just things that were advertising for Flonase. I'll show you a couple. There was a couple of sealed plush and unsealed ones. And then there was this thing, and I think when you press the button, it was like boxed. The hands moved. And then, yeah, it came in that box. The box had all kinds of issues. I just went ahead and put it all together. I have other things, stuffed animals that were Flonase that I kept separate. But this did sell for $44.95. I will never overlook advertising, especially drug and pharmaceutical stuff at yard sales anymore. This too was from my online estate sale. This is Wheelie Walrus, which was some kind, I guess Shoney's and Captain D's at some point had some kind of connection. This was from 1990. He was still in his bag, and he sold for $22.45. I picked this up at a yard sale. My husband's from Missouri, and he went to Mizzou. And then it just sat in our pantry forever, and we're not Jell-O eaters. So I went ahead and pulled it one day. I threw the Jell-O away because it was expired already, and listed just the molds with the box, and it sold for $9.86. I've talked about Showbiz Pizza and Chuck E. Cheese plush. I have done amazing with them. I think she was in the bag that I bought that had the 2 crowns that I've already sold, and then I had this little sealed thing that you could blow up, and it was like a phone holder, and those are all sold already. And Miss Henny here sold for $14.25. We picked this up, I believe this was from a thrift store in a town next to us. I paid $1 or $2 for it, and it sold for $13.45. Slang teasers. I think if I had there were several in the series, if I had several of them, I could have gotten quite a bit more. This I picked up at, I want to say, a yard sale. I'm not remembering though, but I did pay $5 for it. It had other things with it, but I ended up separating out just what this was. And it's from Schleich, which is a brand I really like. Schleich and Peo. Yeah, they do a lot of the animals and sea life and dragons and knights. And it's been listed for quite a while again. And I sold it for $53.95, and it's incomplete. I always buy Kohl's Cares plush, just, it's funny, right before Christmas, I had 3 baskets crammed with just Kohl's Cares, and I've got 2 of them that are almost halfway. All of a sudden, they're very popular, and I'm selling quite a few. This person bought 2 of the Nancy Tillman elephants, and she paid $14.30 plus shipping. Brass, another example. We bought 2 huge lots this summer, and I still have a tote over here of stuff that I have not gotten to yet. And I'm selling weekly still stuff either on Facebook or on eBay. I don't even think I've put it on any of the other sites yet, the other platforms. But this 5 candle holder sold for $34.95. We picked up, we like to pick up dish sets, and then for a lot of them, I sell them by each piece. I don't remember how much we paid for the Poppy Trail. Looking back, it's been a very slow seller, but I am selling them for decent profit. It's just, you know, they do take up space. I've came across a few more sets of the Poppy Trail, by Metlocks, and I haven't purchased them. This platter did sell for $17.95. These are another example of small appliances, the vintage type that we picked up. This one was, I burnt myself testing it. I didn't even think about, it's a fryer and a crock pot. So, you know, a lot of times you turn on the crock pots and the sides get a little bit warm, you know, immediately, and then it builds up. Well, this thing got hot as Hades, and I mean, I burnt myself. But nevertheless, I lived. And it sold for best offer of $40. It was a booger, though, to pack, because I'm so worried that that crock in the center and the lid isn't going to make it. And Robert wasn't there that day, so I had to pack it. I want to believe I bought several Build-A-Bears at the Goodwill here in our town, and was very pleasantly surprised that a couple of them were high dollar. This is one of them, and then I think the other one was a manta ray, which I still have. I haven't sold it yet. But this is a vampire bat. If I got it at the Goodwill, I probably paid either $1.79 or $2.29 or something like that. And it sold for $53.95. This is a vintage bear by Moonbeam, dated 1986. I love stuffed animals, the vintage type. Even if I don't know the brand, I'm more than likely going to pick it up. I feel like I got to save it for somebody who's going to cherish it. But this Moonbeam bear sold best offer of $10.25. Care Bears, I picked them up whether they're vintage or not. They still sell for me. This Care Bear sold for $12.50. I had a recent haul on this. I was just glancing at Facebook Marketplace one day and saw a lot of vintage toys and dolls for, I think, $25 plus the shipping. But I saw her, and I saw a Snoopy Lovey, and I knew I needed to get that lot. It's my first time ever buying on Facebook Marketplace, and when I everything went good with it. I did put her up for auction, and then I was doing my ending and sell similar and wasn't paying attention. Luckily, she had no bids yet, but I ended it, and I had to redo it again, and I don't know if, you know, I could have lost some people thinking that something, and they didn't look for it again. But I did get the first and only bid for $69.99, and I've already received glowing feedback. She needed cleaning, and I've talked about that before. With these vintage dolls, especially this Mod Child doll, you don't clean them. Their faces have this like fabric over them. Their faces are painted. You just leave it to somebody who knows what they're doing. And if she had been in mint condition with her clothes on, she probably would have been $150 to over $200. But I'm happy to have, I've already sold her. I sold the Holly Hobby for $20 from there. I don't remember if anything else. But I've already made well over what I paid, so I'm happy. But definitely watch for these dolls. This is an animated plush pig. It's vintage, and underneath them is a battery operated thing, so they're not soft, and I always pick them up. This brand, I thought it was Iwaya. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. They're from Japan. I always pick them up. You got to be careful with them because their ears usually move, their nose move, and they walk. And a lot of times, if you need to check the legs, especially because they may be broken. If they're loose, then they've been broken. But this one was by Westminster. I did sell it for $10.95, but I did pull up a screen of some of the Iwaya. Now, a lot of times the ones that I find are the pigs, but I have found a couple of the other animals that come in this series, and you'll know that it's Iwaya, I-W-A-Y-A. On the battery cover it says that on the bottom. But here are some of the Iwaya. Now this is a giraffe. I'm sure it went for about that amount. Here's a chicken. It sold quite a few. I've had this hot pink one. I think a lot of them times you get the little ones, and then the bigger ones, though, that are probably like 10 inches long or whatever, they do quite well. I have had the cow before. So there's just a large variety. I mean, not a grand slam, but if you're only paying, you know, $1 or so for them, they're well worth picking up, especially if you see them in the box. But here's just quite a few of them. I've not had the bear. I've had a lot of the pigs. But just something I was going to show you. All right, a couple of more. This is Chick-fil-A. I pick them up if they are like at the bins or a quarter, especially if they're in their bags. Usually I wait and make a small lot of them, you know, list them for $12, $15, $20, depending on what they are. But I did have this one. It looked different, more unique. It was very clean. Decided to list it by itself, and he sold for $8.05. And usually you see these all over the place at yard sales if you live in an area that has a Chick-fil-A. This is a Pandora ornament. I think Robert picked this up at a yard sale or an estate sale recently for $1. It was in its box. I sold it for $17.95, and I just got glowing feedback because I guess the person who bought this was collecting them for their children. So they were trying to get as many of them in duplicates. So they were just thrilled. And that's why we do what we do, right? All right. My big sale for the week was on eBay. And here it is. This is a Michael Simon nativity sweater. You know how they say ugly sells? I wouldn't say it's ugly, but it's definitely nothing that I would wear. I paid $5 for it at an estate sale of a company that we like to go to here in our town. I bought several of these that have the bling all over them. I had a second shirt or sweater like this by the same designer, but it had some stains that I could not get off. So more than likely, I'm just going to take it over to my booth. But look at this, $145. What was funny was I was looking at others like this by this designer, but not as elaborate, that were selling 80s, 90s, 100s. And I was about to list it for $89.99. And I decided to go look at Terapeak and saw some that had sold for a whole lot more. So I decided to go high. I listed it for $159. It went on sale and it sold very quickly for $145.31. So I'm thrilled. For those that are new to my channel, we have just started selling clothes this year. I think I'm about 700 items listed right now. And we're getting 2 to 3 a day sales. But yeah. All right, I have 2 Facebook orders and then 1 Mercari order. That's it. All right, this was from my online estate sale also. These are the Burger King and Hallmark Pretenders series. They were just these cats that had different faces that you could pull over. There's a larger version of these. I think Fisher Price maybe put them out. Very cute, but these were put out by Burger King in the 80s. And I had these 4, and they sold on Facebook for $23.75. This is from my dollhouse stuff that I've picked up. These 2, the mom and the dad from 2006, sold for $13.30. And this was my Mercari order. This was, again, Kohl's Cares. This is the Moose from If You Give a Moose series, and it sold for $7. All right, that's it. I'm going to wrap this up, and I've got to get another video done, hopefully today, on some more of the estate sale stuff that we bought last weekend. It was amazing. I didn't do any yard sales or estate sales this weekend because we knew we needed to move the booth. So that's where my focus has been. And then I'm still kind of messing with eBay, doing a lot of cross-listing, just to kind of, you know, you can't have all your eggs in one basket, right? All right. Bye.